So my name is Vinay Kalra, and today we'll take up blockchain, this whole word, and we'll try to clear as many doubts as you guys have with you. Let me introduce Harpal Singh here, Harpal Jadeja. So he is the developer relations engineer at Celo. Hi Harpal. Uh, please, if you please, will love to hear some words from you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the introduction, Vinayak. So I right now work at developer at Celo Foundation as a developer relations engineer, and basically my job is to assist developers who are trying to build applications in the Celo ecosystem or want to bring their applications to the Celo ecosystem. I usually work on documentation, create new tutorials, and give presentation like this one. Um, and yeah, I'm here today to share my experience, share some information, and try to answer as many questions as I can.
Uh, so there is one question that I have before we move ahead with the lecture, Harpan. So there is one question that I think everybody in this group will have right now, right? So what is the scope of blockchain in itself? What can we achieve through it, or what is the salary packages that we can generally expect from a blockchain developer or a smart contract developer? So this is something I think that will entice everybody that is here in this meeting today.
Yeah, sure. So the scope of blockchain is pretty wide. It's just that we have a lot less implementations in every sector, but people are using blockchain for financial applications. The biggest use case is financial applications, and then there are applications which convert real estate properties into real estate property, agreements or deeds into NFTs, and then you can have you can represent true ownership on the blockchain and even track what the state of the property is on blockchain. um, I've seen people like there are chains uh, doing like keeping track of deliveries and logistics on blockchain, which is also really helpful and very great
Right.
because you know that the uh, information is immutable, and you will be able to, like you can just imagine like having Amazon deliveries being tracked on the blockchain, and you know that it's all the information is pretty true to the point. um, then there are applications in the gaming industry as well. To give you an example, we if somebody here has played games like Counter Strike, then you know that we have assets in games like skins, guns, etc. What if you could have true ownership of such assets, and you can take those assets and have composability? Basically, your skin in one game could act like a jacket or whatever apparel in some other game, right? If they have a partnership between them, such things are possible in blockchain. And there are many applications. I can talk over it for like an hour or so, but to keep it short, there are many applications of blockchain. And to talk about the salary packages, it's subjective actually. Some of the companies even do geographical based salaries because like companies like I won't name any companies to be honest, but there are some companies who give you salary based on your geographic location. Most of the companies are expecting developers to work remotely, and salaries are varying. Developer relations salaries are like somewhere around 80 to 120, $150,000. Then there are salary then there are all kind of people, right? Even marketing people are required here. There are positions for legal people as well. So depending on them, the salary differs, but for developers it's somewhere around 80K, 60K. And if they are giving you salary based on your geographical location, which could be India, then it might start from 25 lakhs Indian rupees and go to somewhere around, like, depending on whether your company considers you to be geographically located or not, it can go up to 1.2 crores or somewhere like that. Yeah.
Right, right, right. I think these figures must have enticed everybody that is here on the call today.
Yeah.
So, and these are really great figures as well. And I bet a lot of people would have converted the dollar price into INR as soon as you said eighty
Yeah.
thousand dollars, right?
Yeah.
So, Yeah, one of the things right now, I believe that the audience that we have is is of this caliber that they can reach blockchain itself, right? So I
Sure.
believe that the people that are here are from very prestigious colleges, right? And at the same time, they have the caliber to reach
Yeah,
where,
definitely.
right, and something like this is an opening for everybody that is here. So this is something that I wanted to cover, like why exactly should all the people that are here should at least try and consider blockchain as their career, right? So I think a lot of information was there in this answer that Harpal mentioned, right? NFT is immutable. We'll try to answer as much questions as possible, right?
Yeah.
And uh, if there are any questions, guys, please feel free to use the chat box. You can type in your questions, and we'll get back to your questions as soon as we are available, and we'll try to answer those questions in the lecture itself and during the lecture itself, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, Harpal, shall we move towards a basic of blockchain, and then maybe we can move towards introducing Celo, as well as the ecosystem that a Celo blockchain has, an ecosystem that a chain can actually build. That is something that is very big for everybody here. They can get to know a lot of applications that are already built on a blockchain, right?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
great, great. So, first of all, I think after hearing all this, the first question that a lot of you might have is what exactly is blockchain, right? So we'll try to cover very basic parts of blockchain in the start, right?
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, Harpal,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, no, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, okay, it's all right. So we'll try to cover uses of blockchain, and we'll then focus on some of the basic building blocks of Celo blockchain, and then as you as a developer, or if you are a designer, right, or in fact, if you are from any particular field, as Harpal already mentioned, that even if you are from legal, from marketing, right, if you want to pursue your careers in these fields, you're more than welcome in blockchain right now, because definitely there is an opening, as we suggested, that there is an opening for developers in this market. So, as well as I emphasize on this again, please feel free to type in the chat box. Let's do a very basic activity. I love to do this. So can we type a simple yes or a no in the chat box if you have heard of blockchain before? If you have heard about blockchain or cryptocurrencies before, please type a yes or a no in the chat box so that I know how many people have heard about it. Great. I always love the people who type in first. Anurag, this is a thumbs up for you, man. All right. Okay. All right. So there are some no's. We'll try to cover that, but there are a huge yes, right? And okay, still yes coming. Yeah, that is good. A lot of people active. I really love an audience that is active. Great. Okay, we'll try to cover those no's into a yes, so that you know what a basic about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, or what forms the layer, forms the basic fundamental layer about it. But we'll try and keep it towards the technical side a lot. Uh, Great. So, on this note, let's try and read more about a blockchain. Also, there's one more question. Has anybody here worked on a blockchain before? Is there somebody who's actually built contracts or something like that? Can we have a quick yes and a no? No is also welcome. Please feel free to write no. Okay, so there is one. Shubham Kumar. Okay, all right. Okay, so a lot of no's. So not a lot of people have actually built something on a blockchain. So we'll try to make sure that at least you have very basic info as to how to get started and build it. Probably like your friend Shubham. All right. Uh, let's start by the basics of blockchain. So blockchain is nothing but as the name suggests, it's a chain of blocks. There are some terms that I'll use in this lecture that will synchronize with some of the things that you might have already learned or heard about. right? But at the same time, I'll try to keep it very simple, right? If anybody has any queries related to any such topics, they are welcome to contact us after the lecture, so that we can clear it. Or if anybody wants to get deep into some concepts, we can recommend some resources as well along with it, right? That said, let's focus on what exactly is a blockchain. So it's a chain of blocks. It's a chain of blocks. These blocks, they contain data and are linked using hashes, right? So now there are three terms that we need to study majorly. One, how are they linked, right? What exactly are hashes, and what sort of data does these blocks they contain? So we have a very basic demo of a blockchain here with us. I'll try to explain it using this demo. And this is an open source demo. You guys can find it here. This is specifically to uh, give a basic of what blockchain actually is and the fundamentals that a blockchain actually uses, right? So first of all, I'll talk about hash. Now, is there anybody who knows what hash is? Can we have a yes and a no again? Okay, no, there is. Okay, I might want to, an encryption method, right? And not really, but yeah, still great. There are a lot of people that doesn't know about it, so we'll still continue with it, right? So what exactly are hashes? Hash is a unique function, uh, a unique uh, a unique sort of a function that if you feed data to it, right, an encrypted string is formed. So this is what you need to understand here, right? So these functions, they are irreversible functions. You can basically reverse it, but you'll need a lot of computing power to reverse these functions, right? So just consider this in coding language, just consider this a function which you feed data into, and an encrypted data is shown here in the form of a hash. Now this is a SHA-256 hash, right? So there are different types of hashes. SHA-512, then there are MD5 hashes also. If somebody has ever worked on PHP, they might know about MD5 hashes, right? So what is the difference between a hash and a encryption mechanism, right? An encryption or decryption mechanism like AES, if anybody's heard about it. So basically, hash is one way only. You can always feed it data and get the hash, but you cannot get the data from the hash, right? So this forms the security layer on a blockchain. Or for that matter, if you talk about addresses on a blockchain, or if you talk about private keys, everything is actually derived from hashes. A chain of hashes in a very suitable manner as per every blockchain, right? So if I type hello here, I'll get this hash that starts with 2CF. At the same time, if I remove O, right, the hash is different, as you can see. So every word will have a different hash, but same word hello will always have the same hash. Now this is something to remember, right? Because how will you validate data otherwise? You'll have to validate data by typing in the same string hello, and you'll validate the hashes. We'll learn eventually how, right? Then what exactly is a block? Now this is not how a block looks like. Let me confess, right? And this is just for understanding, right? And as I said, I'll use terms for your understanding right now. If you want to delve deep into it, you'll have to Google it or connect with us after the lecture. So now these are some of the variables of a block. I'll actually, I think maybe we'll show it. We'll show what a block actually is on a Celo chain, right? And we'll try to see what all are the possibilities, right, on the Celo chain regarding a block, and how we can definitely see a block explorer and see what are the variables there. So, and right now we'll define a block first. This is block height, the number of block. Now, as I've said, that blockchain is a chain of blocks, like the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is defined as block height, the current number of block that's going on. And nonce, this nonce is basically a number that that has to be guessed. Then this nonce is relevant when it comes to proof of work chains, and not that relevant when it comes to proof of stake chains. It actually differs on chain to chain again, right? But this is something what you need to know is this is something that has to be guessed uh, while insertion of a block. And data. Now this data could actually be anything. Just have a look at when I change the data, you'll see this hash it'll change. The block will turn red, right? So whenever I change the data, the hash changes. This hash is actually formed from all the data here, block nonsense data. You can think of it like a JSON object. If anybody knows what a JSON object is, right? You can think of it as a JSON object that is being fed to a SHA-256 function, right? Just to be simple, it is not that simple, right? It is for your understanding that I'm saying this. And when you keep on changing this data, you'll see that the hash keeps on changing, right? And now when you mine it, you'll see that a specific nonce is assigned for this block, and some zeros are here. Now these zeros they are for they define the difficulty of mining a block in a proof of work blockchain, yes, right? But the structure of a block, it remains the same almost throughout the blockchains. And now let's see how this hash is actually used to form a chain. The chains are actually linked with the hash of the previous block. Now there is a previous block hash here included in a block, a variable again, included in a block to form these hashes. Now if the previous block hash it changes, so the link it severs, right? If I type some data here, you'll see the hash it changes, right? So I'll have to mine this block, form a hash, right? And then I'll have to remine this block so that these two blocks are actually linked. Now this is a practical example. You guys can go ahead, play with it and see what exactly is happening, right? So this is what exactly does this mean? If I go back to right now these are 5 blocks here. So if I go back to block number 1, and if I change data in block number 1, change the hash of block number 1, I have immutably, or you can say, I've actually changed a block that will subsequently unlink with the whole chain. So the whole chain right now is invalidated. This is what this red color means, right? So the whole chain right now is invalidated. So you'll have to mine the whole chain again so that this chain in itself is properly formulated. So this is what lies. This is where lies security in a blockchain. So you cannot basically go back and change the data in a blockchain. This is why it is very secure for transactions, right? Because you cannot change the data. You cannot go back and change the data. Now, if anybody is interested, they can definitely go through it. Now, go through the probability, go through the mathematics of it, right? But if I talk about Bitcoin, the probability of changing the data in a block, in the 6th block, like right now, if I talk about the first block is being mined, right, or the latest block is being mined. So 6 blocks before that, the probability of changing data in 6th block before the current block is roughly 0.01, but is the probability, so which is very, very less. And after that, it almost it actually tends to 0. It's 0.01%, sorry, and it tends to 0 in the subsequent blocks. So it is very tough to change data beyond 6 blocks. It basically could not be changed. You'll need a very high power of computer to do that, right? So this forms the basis of security. And then there is one other term that you'll hear of a lot, which is decentralization, right? So this is also something that is linked to blockchain, and it was solved by blockchain itself, right? So what happens is now this data, these blocks, these are not stored in one singular place. Now these are ledgers of very high quantity, of very high GBs, right? If you go ahead, download a blockchain, you can definitely do that. You can download a blockchain in your PC and check out what exactly has been done with that blockchain. So, I when I started out, I've actually done it with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, right? Actually downloaded those chains and I've seen what exactly is there after you download it. You basically cannot really open a lot of files from there, but yeah, still you can see how things are working. So you can download those. Those are in very large amount and large GBs. You can go through it. It's actually public available for everybody, uh, right? So you can do that. And that whole chunk of data is actually formed one by one and is decentralized. It's not stored in one singular place. It's stored in nodes uh, all over the globe, basically. So even you can run a node, a blockchain node. You can run a node and process transactions, process blocks for a chain, right? So this is how decentralization came into picture with blockchain. I hope it is clear till here. If there are some questions, please feel free to add them in the chat box. We'll love to answer them, right? If there is any question till here. Now this is what forms the basics of blockchain. Right. So the another term that you'll hear of a lot is Web 2.0, Web 3.0, right? Uh, my motive today is to give you knowledge about some of the basic terms, right? And so that you can, if you read an article on blockchain, you should be able to understand what that means. So you'll hear this a lot: Web 2.0, Web 3.0. Web 2.0, if I simplify it and differentiate it, the difference between Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 is basically decentralization. Decentralization of content, of power, that is major in Web 3. So if you see all the projects such as Ethereum, even in fact Celo, all of these projects are driven by Web 3.0. Web 2.0 is something that we work on right now. A lot of you might have worked on websites, applications. You might know a bit about cloud computing. All of those things comprises of Web 2.0. So the major thing that differentiate Web 3.0 is decentralization, right? And as you see this graph, this is actually this graph is basically the value that holds the value that Web 2.0 projects holds and the value that 3.0 projects are actually bringing on. So if you see that, the value is increasing substantially. This means that at the same time the opportunities are increasing. This is why we are here, trying to make you understand about it, as well as the purpose here is so that a lot of you should actually get started in building something on blockchain. And then we have uses of blockchain. I think this would be covered, the uses of blockchain would be covered in detail when we talk about Celo and its ecosystem. So I'll leave it here. Harpal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's your cue. Maybe we can take up
Yeah.
some of the basics of Celo from here, right? And maybe we can help them understand what exactly is a blockchain and what are the use cases that can be built on a blockchain, and how as a developers can these guys actually get started towards building it.
Sure, I can start sharing my screen from here then.
Definitely. Let me stop presenting. Yeah.
Let me know if the slides are visible now.
Yeah, it is visible.
Are they still visible?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Great.
Uh, Thank you for the introduction to blockchain, Vinayak. So now I'll be just giving everyone the introduction to what Celo ecosystem is. Um, this is like the overall agenda for today. We are going to talk about what is Celo, some Celo features, what are some projects in the Celo ecosystem, and how you can get started on by building projects on Celo, and how you can be part of the Celo community. So what is Celo? Celo is basically a permissionless platform that makes financial tools accessible to anyone with a mobile device. Now that's a mouthful, right? Let's break it down. What does permissionless mean? So if you have build applications, if you want to go production, you have to host your application on servers like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, etc. And whenever you go there, they are first going to take all your information like name, credit card, and whatnot. And they could potentially restrict you from deploying applications if they don't serve you in your country, right? Similarly, Google Cloud can do the same and Azure can do the same. Then that basically means that those platforms are permissioned, which means if you want to deploy your application, if you want your application to be accessible to everyone, you need their permission, right? And you might have also heard about this outage when AWS went down. Netflix wasn't accessible because Netflix is dependent on AWS. So you can see how much problematic that can be. But Celo is a permissionless platform. When you want to deploy on Celo, all you need is the fees that you have to pay in order to deploy your application, and nobody is going to ask for any kind of information from you. All you have to do is just deploy, and it will be accessible for all the users of the Celo ecosystem. Um, by saying that we make financial tools accessible, we are basically talking about the majority of applications on Zillow, which are financial tools, which could be lending markets, exchanges, universal basic income, etc. And what we are specifically focusing on is that people can access them using mobile devices, because mobile devices are have the most amount of users, right? So what are some Celo specific features? We have phone number mapping, which basically means that if you have used MetaMask or any wallet, then you must have noticed that your address, the public address, is a long string of characters, which is definitely something that you cannot memorize. Like, I don't even know my public key right now. So you can imagine how difficult it is to, like, you can imagine that when internet started, there used to be IP addresses. That's how people used to remember the websites, right? Like, you put in the IP address and then you go to website. But then domains were introduced, like facebook.com, google.com. And today we can not use phone numbers, but we can like use Google Pay, Paytm, Phone Pay, and just type in their phone numbers. We don't need to remember their account name, we don't need to remember their IFSC code, nothing like that, right? We just need the phone number and we can send the payments. Similarly, we want to give a similar experience in the blockchain industry, because even a single change in character would lead to the funds going to someone else, which is not what you want, right? So for this purposes, we are introducing phone number mapping at a native level, which basically means that you can natively depend. Nobody would stop you from implementing this feature in your application. Cross-chain interoperability. This is a bit of more of an advanced feature, which basically means that there exist multiple blockchains like Celo, Ethereum, then there is Polygon and other blockchains. And if you want to do transactions, like, if you want to transfer your funds from Celo to the Polygon blockchain or Ethereum blockchain, you can do that, because we have such uh, projects and tools in the ecosystem to do such things. Multi-currency gas fees. This is also something that, if you know about how gas fees work, then, like, in most of the blockchains, there is a single native currency that is to be used to pay gas fees. For example, for Ethereum, you pay gas fees in ETH. And what is a gas fee? Gas fee is basically fees to be used in order to do right type of operations on the blockchain. So blockchain is basically storing information, and if you want to write to the storage, perform a write operation, then you would have to pay gas fees. And it could be in any form. It could be storing some information, doing a transaction, because when you do a transaction, you have to store which entities, like which are the entities involved in the transaction, what was the asset, what happened, etc. Was it a buy, sell, etc., etc. Right? So whenever you do a write operation, you are supposed to pay gas fees, and when you do a read operation, it's free. So like, what if you have some funds in your wallet, but you cannot exchange them for something else because you don't have the native currency that is to be used to pay the gas fees, right? Like in like let's say Paytm starts charging you fees for doing transactions. So usually, like what we can think of is that Paytm will charge us in INR. What if we have US dollars? We have US dollars, we want to exchange it to Indian rupees, but we don't have Indian rupees to pay for the exchange fees, right? Something like that. I'm just trying to give an example, right? So Celo basically supports multiple currencies as gas fees. So if you have uh, dollars, you have euros, you have the Brazilian real, you can pay gas fees using that as well. EVM compatibility. Celo is almost, like not almost, but EV is EVM compatible, which is basically the tools that you use for the for developing your applications and deploying your applications in the Ethereum ecosystem are directly available for you in the Celo ecosystem as well. So you use the same programming language, the same tools that you have when you are writing code or deploying applications on Ethereum. You can use the same things on Celo. Let's now talk about a bit about the ecosystem and the projects in the Celo ecosystem. So these are the prominent or the most popular projects in the Celo ecosystem. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but to give you a summary, Velora is kind of like the flagship project we have in the Celo ecosystem, and Velora wallet, as far as my knowledge goes, is the only wallet that right now supports phone number mapping. It's not that the other wallets can't do it. It's just that Velora has the implementation done. So it's like an app where you can, you know, c- c- you put in your phone number and get an account, send or transfer, receive funds, and you also get rewarded if you keep your funds in that wallet. And there are many other applications embedded into the Velour apps. You can directly tap on like that application and use it from the app itself. Then we have Kickstarter. So we are in Kickstarter, so like is in works with integrating Celo, and then people would be able to crowdfund Kickstarter funds using Celo. Um, we have projects like Impact Market, which are basically projects where you can donate and create a universal basic income for other people in the underserved countries. Do transactions without internet or for feature phones. Then we have many exchanges, you like Uniswap, Ubiswap, Sushi. Then there's a company called C Labs, which is like a infrastructure arm of Celo. So yeah, you can check out these projects in the Celo ecosystem, and they are being actively tracked at docs.celo.org/showcase. So this is how the page of that looks like. Currently, we have 91 being tracked actively, but you can go and hit the add button to see your site, to add your project basically. So let's now talk how you can get started by deploying, building and deploying your applications on Celo. So first thing that you need is a wallet, because as I said, in order to create any kind of write operation, in order to perform any kind of write operation, which deploying your application is also a write operation, so you would need gas fees, like funds to pay gas fees. And to hold your funds, you need a wallet. So the first thing that you need is a wallet, and then you have to fund those wallet with assets, which could be Celo CUSD, which is Celo US dollar. So it's not the same US dollar, it's just a tokenized version of the US dollar. Then we have C euro, which is Celo euro, and C real. After that, you can just start building. To be honest, that's it. That's all you need. You don't need any kind of KYC. No, nobody's going to ask you for any kind of documentation, documents or anything like that. You can just keep these funds in your wallet and start deploying applications and pay for the gas fees using that. So choose a wallet of your choice. To send, receive, and store your Celo assets. Celo wallet is one, which is like a extension. So if I can, like I would like to stop share my screen here and then share my entire browser so you can see I have it installed here. So give me a moment there. Mm, so please let me know if you can see my entire Chrome browser window right now.
Visible.
Okay, great. So Celo wallet, I have it installed here. So if I hit it, it looks something like this. Oh, I guess I forgot the password or something. Yeah, this is how it looks like. We have some funds here and you have some accounts here. You can create more accounts and you have the
Uh,
public addresses here as well. Oh, we
I
can
think
you
the
not see this?
no, that's not
Yeah,
visible.
okay. I think I will have to share my entire screen then. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I will just share my entire screen. Um, Let me know if this is visible now, right?
Yeah, it's visible now. Yes.
Okay, great. So this is basically how it looks. You have the different networks here. I will explain what these networks mean in a while. You have the Celo logo here as well. Make sure you're installing the extension which is official because there could be clones out there and you don't want to install them. Seriously, if you enter your private key there, then you would usually be losing your funds. Then we have Valora, which is basically an app. Let me show it to you. This is how the app looks like. It's available on Play Store. It's available on Apple App Store, and you can install it on your phone and you know buy crypto, send crypto, receive crypto, and even receive rewards. And there are some dApps inside the app as well that you can directly access right from there. Then we have MetaMask, which is the most popular one. So MetaMask is a EVM compatible wallet. Basically, it supports all the other chains which are EVM compatible, and Celo happens to be one of them. So all you have to do is install the MetaMask extension. Um, I don't have it installed here right now, but if you want, go to metamask.io. This is the official link. Don't go anywhere else. It will give you the prompt to download, and then you can download and add the Celo configuration. So how do you do that? If you The easiest way is to go to chainlist.org and search for Celo here. Then it will ask you to connect your wallet. If I hit connect wallet here and if I had MetaMask, then it will pop up the prompt and it will ask you to add the Celo network. And then you can just start using. You can even import your Valora wallet in Celo, in MetaMask and manage assets in MetaMask as well if you are more familiar with that wallet. The next step is to fund your wallets, right? Like right now you can see that my wallet has 0.99 Celo. So this is a test network. It says that Alpha ORS test network. A test network is basically a playground for testing. So when you are, you know that when we develop applications, obviously we cannot write the correct code in the first go, right? We need some testing environment which is similar to the production environment. So the Celo blockchain is the proper production environment where people would be using their real money to interact with applications, and when you're deploying your dApp, you are also using your real funds. But the Alpha ORS test network, this is a testing playground. You can use the funds here. These are dummy funds to test and deploy your applications, and the other people can also request for test funds and interact with your application and give you feedback on whether it is working properly or not. And once you have all the test cases passing, you know that everything is working fine, then you can switch to Celo main network and then basically deploy your application. So you can see that I don't have any Celo right now. So where do you get Celo? There are many exchanges available worldwide, and you need not worry. I will share these slides, so all these links will be clickable. If I click this link, you will be able to see these are the exchanges where Celo is available. You can buy from any one of your choice, and that's how you can like fund your Celo wallet. Like it will ask you to, where do you want your funds, and like that's a completely different process that we can discuss someday. But these are the places where you can find Celo. And for get test funds basically means that where do you go to get the test funds, right? And when you click this link, you will be able to see that fund your testnet account. All you have to do is paste in your address, which is If I go to Alpha OS and click here, so my address is copied. This is my public key, right? This is my public key. There's also a private key, which is something that you're not supposed to share. And public key is something that you're supposed to share with everyone. So that's what I'm sharing here. And once you complete the captcha and click get funds, you will be able to see those funds come in here soon. So we are not going to wait for that. I will show you after a few seconds that it works. Other than that, we have yeah, at this point now you can just, you have funds, you can now just start deploying your applications on Celo, right? So there are some steps. You can start by setting up your environment. That's what usually we do, right? When we get a new laptop, we install all the uh, code editors and everything that we want, and then we get started by coding, right? So you would need to install dependencies like Node.js. If you want to develop mobile applications for iOS, you will need Xcode. If Android, then Android Studio on Mac and Windows respectively. And if you want to get started very quickly, where you don't want any front end as of now, you just want to test if your contracts, the smart contract part is working properly or not, you can get started very quickly using Remix ID, which is a very useful tool actually. And a lot of people start their career with this tool, including myself. So this looks very similar to VS Code, Visual Studio Code IDE by Microsoft. So you can like see that there are some sample contracts created for you here, and you can see what they do. I'm not going to explain here all the code here right now, but you can easily create your own files. Like I have one which is created by me, todo.sol, and I can type in the code. What I can do then is go to this icon and compile it, which basically means that the like usually this is the process, right? Like we write code and then we compile it. It could be C++, Java, whatever, right? So this is like the Solidity compiler, which basically converts the code into EVM. Of course, now this is just a little advanced here, so I'm just going to skip over to that. But the next step, which usually is that in usual applications when we are building in Web2 or like C++, Java, or JavaScript or anything like that, we execute the application, right? But in terms of blockchain, we deploy them to the blockchain, right? Um, so Remix ID by default does not support the Celo wallet here. So in order to support it, what you can do is you can click on this icon which says Plugin Manager and search for Celo here. Once you see that, you can click on Activate here, and now you would be able to connect your wallet. So if I hit connect here, then my wallet will get connected, which is basically this one. You see 0x854. That's the same thing here, right? And now you can like deploy. So compile, and then it will tell you to, you can select the contract that you want to deploy and then deploy. Okay. And that will cost you the testnet funds because we are now connected to test network. And you can also see that I got extra one Celo is extra now. That is because I requested those funds. So this is a very popular and easy way to get started if you are new to this space. Um, the next step is just building the dApp, right? Like write a simple Hello World app on the Remix ID and deploy it and see how it goes for you. There are other tools like Hardhat, which is a bit more advanced for the people who, once you get acquainted with Remix ID, the usual next step is to jump to your own ID environment, right? Which is basically VS Code. And you would code there, you will use your terminal to deploy your contracts, and tools like Hardhat for testing and deploying your contracts. So you can even write tests before you deploy them and make sure that they are passing. And there are other tools like Replit, which is also like in-browser coding environment. You can explore developer tutorials. Obviously, we can't expect you to write big applications by yourselves, right? You need a place from where you can learn and communicate and ask questions, right? So we have Celo developer community blog. If you click on this link, we have the community blog here where we regularly post tutorials on the various other topics that we come across and we find important. We also write tutorials on the new integrations in Celo and how you can take advantage of them if you're building applications in the Celo ecosystem. Other than that, we have a Figment. So Figment is another company that we have partnered with to, facilitate education. And they have this pathway where you can, learn everything. What is Celo, set up the project, create account, deploy smart contracts, and all of the other stuff. They also have other tutorials on some advanced topics written by other fellow members of the ecosystem. We have a partnership with the card as well, which is another place where you can learn about the Celo ecosystem. And the best part of this is that you even get paid while you are learning. So, give it a chance. Um, we also have Learn Web3 DAO partnership, which is another place where you can go and find Celo and learn about it. You will need to sign in, and this sign in would be using a wallet. So currently, I am not part of it, so I won't be able to show you how this looks, but it's also one of the good places to check out. And then lastly, the Celo docs, which is where you will find all of the information that you need. Like we have tons and tons of information here compiled for you in one place. So do check out the Celo docs as well. Accelerate your development. So right now, you must be in a position where you know the basics. You can deploy some small applications, and you can get your head around basic applications. But what do you if you want big applications, right? What if you want to create front ends, and you want to integrate your front ends with your smart contract and have a communication channel between them and all of that stuff? So for those reasons, we have like React Celo, which is basically a starter template which you can use, or like it's like a set of functions, React hooks, which you can use in order to uh, create that integration of your front end and your smart contracts very easily. You can go through this README file and understand how it works. So the reason we choose React is because React, by observation, React is the most used front end library in the Web3 ecosystem, and that's why we just thought we should have some tools or developer utilities to help them, right? So we have this package, which is a set of React hooks which you can use in your project. We also have Celo Composer. Celo Composer is basically templates to get you started. We have a Flutter app template, we have a React app template, we also have a React Native app template, and some other developer utilities. So all you have to do is like come back here, click use this template, and then you will have it in your own GitHub profile, and then clone it down into a local machine and use it. So React Native app is something that has been created by me, so you can check this out as well. We also have Celo Terminal. So Celo Terminal is like a standalone application, like a standalone wallet to manage and control your applications. And we also have Ledger support. So this is a little bit more advanced, for you have governance, voting, and everything as well. Safe React is one of the applications related to like creating multi-sig wallets. This could be also a bit out of scope for this, but if you understand what multi-sig wallets are, we have that as well. There are other tools as well which are created by other people in other ecosystems, like EtherJS, Hardhat, and all of those are supported directly because we are EVM compatible. And you can also check out many other tools we have created here in the Celo GitHub org. You can visit this and you will see a lot of um, repos here that you can use and get started. Lastly, I'm just going to talk about the Celo community, how you can be part of this global developer community building dApps on Celo. You can join the Celo Discord. We also have a Celo Devs Twitter, and we do regular developer office hours on every Tuesday and Thursday, where you can come and join us and ask questions related to the Celo ecosystem, or if you're facing any errors, or if you need any help from the team at Celo, we can connect you with anyone you want in the Celo company or C Labs company and get your questions answered. If you have any PRs pending and you need them to be reviewed, you can even highlight them here in the office hours. We have Celo Telegram, which is for the people who use Telegram, and we also have Celo Community Calendar, which is Google Calendar. If you say add to this calendar, then it will add all the events that we have for the people of the Celo community, and you will get notifications for all of them, including the developer office hours. So yeah, thanks for your time and for your attention. Um, Really great to have to get this chance to share all the knowledge with you. You can check out more at celo.org.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, Harpal. That was really, really nice. I think the place to get started would be this only. And for everyone here, we'll share the links that were shared shared from Harpal, right? With everybody, we'll post them in the groups so that you guys can go through it. Uh, right. One thing that I like to add here is as a suggestion that please join the community, right? Join the Discord community and see what are the updates that are happening in Celo. Right, joining is the community is the first step that you should take towards building something, because you'll find like-minded people there that can help you and that will be able to answer the questions that you guys might have, right? So there is one question though, Harpal, in the chat box.
Yeah, sure.
Can we move any application created on Ethereum or other blockchains onto Celo blockchain?
Yeah, definitely. As I said that we are EVM compatible. So if you have any application on Ethereum blockchain, there will be some minor changes that you have to do, and then you can directly deploy it on the Celo blockchain, and the people in the Celo blockchain community can also use it. And if you need any kind of help, just join the Celo Discord, and you can do @Harpal, and you will see my tag. Just hit enter and ask any questions that you have in the Celo Discord.
Great, great. So if we have any other questions, please, people, you can feel free to unmute yourself, ask those questions. I think we still have 5-7 minutes left with us. We can use them to answer your questions. Okay. So there is another question, Harpal, in the chat box. Can you tell me what is proof of stake?
Yeah, sure. So, right now, Ethereum and Bitcoin blockchain work on proof of work. What that basically means that you are supposed to do some kind of work in order to prove that you have to provide the proof that you did the work, and then you get the chance to mine the blocks. So proof of stake is basically, let's just understand what stake is. Stake basically means that you lock your funds in the, like, there could be a pool or it could be a contract where you lock your funds, and then you get a chance to be a validator. Basically how blockchains work is that when a bunch of transactions are sent to the blockchain, they get bundled up into a block, and then the validators or miners in terms of proof of work and validators in proof of stake get to decide, like get to propose actually that, you know uh, according to me, these are the correct transactions, and everybody who is a validator gets to do that. Everybody gets to do a proposal, and on a random basis, on a random algorithm, one of the validator is selected, and they get a chance to uh, you know provide that block, like validate the block. So if I am a validator, and if Vinayak is the validator, and if Vinayak is selected, all the transactions that Vinayak proposed, that these are the correct set of transactions that can be included in this block, that block will be the correct block and included in the blockchain. Rest all them will be discarded. And the other validators, what they can do is just try to confirm that the transactions that Vinayak proposed are correct or not. So that's proof of stake. The difference is that you get the validators are selected on a random basis and your funds are staked. So you lock your funds. So why do you lock your funds? Because if you try to do something wrong that the other validators think that you did something wrong, then your funds would be slashed. What that means is that if you put in 100 rupees and if you did something wrong, it depends. I'm just giving you an example. 5 rupees might be deducted. So when Vinayak wants to opt out of validation, he will only get 95 back and not the complete 100.
I hope that answers your question, Dipendra. That was really insightful, Harpal. Like a great explanation and difference between proof of stake as well as uh,
Yeah.
specifically staking. Thank you. There is a question by Raman. Is there any way we can apply for a job or internship with Celo? I think maybe we
Yeah.
could cover a part if there are some upcoming hackathons or grant programs as well here, right? So that the developers are interested.
Yeah, sure. So for the jobs and internship, I think you can go to the Celo website and you can find a careers page at the footer of the website. If not, you can like personally contact me. I will try to get you the information regarding that. And about the grants, we have grant programs. There are four different types of grants: ecosystem grants, which is basically provided by Celo, which could range from $2,000 to $10,000 depending upon your state of the project. If you have no users, then the amount is usually low. But if you have, product market fit or some uh, reasonably good amount of users, then the fund amount goes up. Then there are venture funding as well. So the people who invested in Celo, we can introduce you to them as well. But that only happens when your project is like super big, and you can get amounts for somewhere around like $50,000 or even above that. Like that's just, there's no upper limit to that, but you can just think of that. And then there is Cello Cam, which I think is very good for the people who are new in the space, which is basically live right now. To be honest, the applications are closing pretty soon. So Cello Cam season 6 is live. Just search it on Google or Twitter, and what you will able to do is they will ask you a couple of questions on what you are building, who are your team members, what are your experience, what is your background. And basically it's like Y Combinator. If you fill up your applications and send them, a team will review them. And what will happen is over the course of the program, you would be given services like incubation, right? You will be connected to the experts in this field, and you would be able to ask them questions if you have any questions related to technology, if you have any questions related to how to approach the product market fit, etc., etc. And eventually at the end of the Celo camp, there is a demo day where every project would be presenting in front of a few investors or the audience, and the best ones would be getting some grants, which could be 2,000 to 10,000. So something like that.
Great, great. There is a follow-up question by Dipender. Can anybody add funds to these elevators?
So yes, what you can do is you can stake your fund with those validators. So basically, there are some minimum requirements to become a validator. But what you can do is like, if the minimum requirement seems to be high enough, uh, then what you can do is you can group them, right? Like you can create a pool or a single wallet and add those funds there, and then you can propose to become a validator, right? Like if you can, there's no restriction on, like, the Celo blockchain doesn't want you to be a single person. They all want is that you reach the minimum requirements, which could be some amount of Celo. And what you can do is, group, yeah, you can form a group. It could be 10 people, 20 people, and they add those funds, and then you can become a validator. And even active validators, what you can do is you can give them funds, stake there. And the advantage of becoming a validator is that every block you propose, you get fees, so you are earning kind of an interest. So that is, distributed among the people who are the uh, you know like the who are the people who gave fund to the validators, who the group that basically formed gets the interest gets distributed among themselves. So you can definitely do that. Yeah.
Great. I hope that answers your query, Dipender. There's a question by Karan. Are there any physical meetups happening?
Physical meetups, we have physical meetups at, like, we try to do Cello presence at most of the events. Like recently, there was an event in Goa, Web3 Conf, which happened in Goa, and I was there physically present with one of the other developers. So that could be one of the places where you could have met me and the other several developers or people working in the Cello ecosystem, and obviously other ecosystems as well. So We try to have a presence at most of the conferences, Web3 based conferences, but we also have a Celo specific event, which is Celo Connect, which happens yearly. Last year it happened, like not last year, this year it happened in April in Barcelona. So yeah, that would be one of the places where you can meet Celo developers and the folks working at Celo.
Great. There is another follow-up question by Dipendra. Is there any process we have to follow to become a validator?
Yes, there is a process actually. You can check out. So if you want, I can just share my screen for a brief
Yeah,
moment of time.
sure, sure.
Um, Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
So if you go to docs.celo.org, there's a section dedicated to validators. So you can go there and read it. You can read the overview, how the algorithm works, how to create, run a node, how to upgrade monitoring, etc. Run a validator, mainnet validator. What is a validator? Staking requirements is 10,000 Celo, right? And hardware requirements, networking requirements, all of that. Like you get all the information that you need right at one place. So all you have to do is go to docs.celo.org/validator, or you can go to docs.celo.org and go to the validator section.
Great.
Yeah. Sorry, where is the, yeah, this one.
I hope that answers it. Dipendra says thank you. Great. All right. I think with this, on this note, I think we can end this session. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to join the Discord group. We'll share the links with you after this lecture so that everybody can go ahead and join it. And please feel free to tag Harpal there, ask your questions, right? Or for that matter, even if you have any problems getting started, you can message it there, and somebody from the community will come and tend to your queries. This is the best thing of crypto communities. Everybody jumps to answer your queries, and will try to make sure that there is very smooth onboarding as to as well as very smooth guidance along
Yeah.
the way. Right. Great. So there is a Twitter handle for Harpal. He shared in the chat. Please, you guys can go ahead, take it from the chat and try to connect with them. Great.
Yeah. Sure.
It was very lovely having you here, Harpal, and
Thank you.
uh,
Yeah.
a great experience, I believe, for everybody here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for
Take
inviting me.
care.
Thank you. Take care.
My pleasure. Bye bye.